Type 2 diabetes can actually be reversed. And I'm not talking about extreme diets, dangerous medications, or risky surgeries. I'm talking about science backed lifestyle changes that can help you achieve normal blood sugar levels without medication. If your A1C keeps creeping up after every doctor's visit, or you're tired of pricking your finger and seeing high numbers, or you just feel stuck and frustrated, then this video is for you. I'm Dinah. I'm a registered dietitian. I'm a certified diabetes care and education specialist, and I have my master's in nutrition. And today I'm breaking down the 3 most powerful research-backed ways to naturally reverse type 2 diabetes. So can diabetes actually be reversed? Let's address the elephant in the room first. The answer is yes, but we need to be clear about what that means. Medical guidelines now use the term remission instead of cure or reversal. Remission means achieving near normal blood sugar levels, like an A1C below 3.5%, for at least 3 months without taking any glucose lowering medication. Now, here's the important part. Diabetes can return if you regain weight or if lifestyle habits slip. So remission doesn't mean you're cured forever. It means your body has restored enough insulin sensitivity that you're managing blood sugar naturally, but you have to maintain those changes. And the research on this is actually really exciting. The DIRECT trial, which is one of the most well-known studies on diabetes remission, followed people with type 2 diabetes in primary care settings. They used a structured low-calorie diet with support, no surgery, no extreme fasting, just a solid nutrition plan. And the results, 46% of participants achieved remission at 12 months and 36% were still in remission at 24 months. So what made the biggest difference? It was weight loss, specifically losing 10 to 15 kilos. That's about 22 to 33 pounds. There was another meta-analysis that looked at 12 different studies with nearly 4,000 participants. They found that lifestyle interventions, things like low energy or low calorie diets, low carb diets, Mediterranean diets, combined with exercise, significantly increased remission rates, improved weight loss, and boosted quality of life. The American College of Lifestyle Medicine even states that lifestyle interventions can prevent, treat, and sometimes even achieve remission of type 2 diabetes. They recommend it as a foundation of diabetes management. So yes, remission is possible, and it's not some fringe idea. It's backed by major medical organizations and decades of research. Now let's talk about how to actually do it. Because here's the thing, knowing remission is possible is one thing, but actually achieving it, that requires a strategy. And the 3 strategies I'm about to share with you today are the most powerful evidence-based approaches that have helped thousands of people lower their A1C, reduce their medications, and take back control of their health. Let's start with number 1, the Mediterranean diet. The Mediterranean diet is hands down one of the most effective eating patterns for managing and reversing type 2 diabetes. And I'm not just saying that because it's trendy. The research on it is truly overwhelming. Multiple meta-analysis of randomized control trials show that a Mediterranean style diet lowers A1C by about 0.3 to 0.4% points compared to control diets or low-fat diets. It also reduces fasting glucose by about 0.6 to 0.9 millimoles per liter, which is about 20 milligrams per deciliter. Now, I know that might not sound like a huge number, but when you're talking about A1C, every 1/10 of a point matters. Dropping your A1C from 7.2 to 6.8% can be the difference between needing medication or not. A 2024 meta-analysis looked at 42 different trials and found that the Mediterranean diet significantly reduced fasting glucose compared to the control groups. It had what they called promising effects on both A1C and fasting glucose, and it was comparable to other top dietary patterns. There are even smaller studies showing A1C reductions of up to 0.67 percentage points, sometimes bringing people below 7% without any medication changes. So what makes the Mediterranean diet so effective? Well, it comes to a few key things. High fiber intake, healthy unsaturated fats from olive oil and nuts, low glycemic index foods, and tons of antioxidants. All of these work together to improve insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammation, lower oxidative stress, support a healthy gut microbiome, and improve your overall cardiometabolic health. Let me break down what the Mediterranean diet actually looks like in practice, because I think a lot of people hear Mediterranean diet and think it's complicated or expensive. but I promise you it's not. The foundation is vegetables, lots of them. Leafy greens, tomatoes, peppers, zucchini, eggplant, cucumbers, etc. You're eating vegetables at almost every single meal. Then you've got whole grains, things like sprouted whole grain bread, brown rice, quinoa, farro, bulgur. These are your complex carbs that digest slowly and don't spike your blood sugar. Then you have legumes. They're huge in the diet. Beans, lentils, chickpeas. These are packed with fiber and protein, and they're incredibly blood sugar friendly. Healthy fats come from extra virgin olive oil, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. These fats improve insulin sensitivity and reduce inflammation. You're eating moderate amounts of dairy, mostly non-fat sources like non-fat yogurt, and you're eating some poultry, eggs, and fish. But red meat is only eaten occasionally and is treated more for something like special occasions. Fruit is also part of the diet, but it's always whole fruit, never juice. And here's the kicker, it's not just about what you eat, it's also about how you eat. The Mediterranean lifestyle emphasizes eating with others, taking your time to really enjoy your meals, and staying active throughout the day. Now, here's something critical that we need to talk about. Weight loss. Remember earlier when I mentioned that the people who achieved remission in the direct trial lost 10 to 15 kilograms? And the good news is that the Mediterranean diet is one of the most effective eating patterns for losing weight and keeping it off. A meta-analysis of 16 randomized trials with over 3,400 people found that the Mediterranean diet led to about 1.8 kilograms more weight loss and lower BMI compared to controlled diets. 1.8 kilograms is about 4 pounds. But here's where it gets really interesting. When the Mediterranean diet was combined with calorie restriction and exercise, and when people followed it for more than 6 months, the weight loss was even greater, up to 3.9 to 4 kilograms of extra weight loss. That's almost 10 pounds. Another systematic review of weight loss trials lasting at least 12 months found that people following Mediterranean diets lost between 4 to 10 kilograms. That's about 8 to 20 pounds. And they lost more weight than people on low-fat diet. And specifically in people with type 2 diabetes, a meta-analysis of 9 randomized control trials showed that the Mediterranean diet produced greater reductions in BMI and body weight compared to controlled diets. And another 2025 meta-analysis in people with chronic diseases found that the Mediterranean diet combined with exercise reduced weight by about 2.5 kilograms and waist circumference by about 3.7 centimeters compared to control groups. So the Mediterranean diet works for weight loss. But what about keeping the weight off long term? Because that's the real challenge, right? A lot of people can lose weight, but keeping it off, that's where most diets fail, especially low-carb diets. Well, good thing the research on this is really encouraging. Prospective studies show that people with higher adherence to the Mediterranean diet have about a 9 to 10% lower risk of becoming overweight or obese. And people who closely followed a Mediterranean pattern over 20 years had more than a 90% lower chance of remaining overweight or obese compared to those who didn't follow the diet. Even more impressive, after intentional weight loss, people with higher Mediterranean diet adherence were about twice as likely to keep the weight off long term. So what does all of this mean for you? It means the Mediterranean diet isn't just a short-term fix. It's a sustainable eating pattern that helps you lose weight, keep it off, and improve your metabolic health all at the same time. And that combination is exactly what you need for diabetes reversal. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, Diana, this sounds great, but I don't know how to cook Mediterranean food. I don't know what to buy at the grocery store. I don't know how to meal plan, etc. And I get it. That's exactly why I put together a free Mediterranean meal plan with recipes specifically designed for people with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes. If you want it, just comment the word guide below this video and I'll send it to you for free. You'll get a full week of meal plans, a shopping list, and easy to follow recipes that are delicious and blood sugar friendly. Seriously, just comment guide and I'll get it to you right away. Now, here's something really important to understand about the Mediterranean diet. It's not a quick fix. It's a long-term eating pattern. The people who see the best results are the ones who stick with it for months and years, not just a few weeks. But the good news is it's one of the most sustainable diets out there because the food is actually enjoyable. You're not starving yourself. You're not cutting out entire food groups like the low carb diet. You're just eating real whole foods that taste good and make you feel good. And the benefits go way beyond blood sugar. The Mediterranean diet also lowers blood pressure, it improves cholesterol levels, it reduces your risk of heart disease, and it helps with weight management, as I mentioned. So if you're serious about putting your diabetes into remission, the Mediterranean diet is one of the most powerful tools you have. But diet alone is not enough. You also need to move your body. Because here's the truth, you can eat perfectly, but if you're not exercising, you're only getting half the results. Exercise is one of the single most effective ways to improve insulin sensitivity, lower blood sugar, and support long-term reversal. So let's talk about what type of exercise actually works. When it comes to reversing type 2 diabetes, exercise is just non-negotiable. And I'm not talking about just going for a casual walk once a week. I'm talking about structured, consistent physical activity that includes both aerobic exercise and resistance training. The guidelines recommend at least 150 to 300 minutes per week of moderate aerobic exercise plus 2 to 3 resistance training sessions. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but let me break it down so it's actually doable. 150 minutes per week is just 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. That could be a brisk walk, a bike ride, swimming, dancing, anything that gets your heart rate up. And resistance training doesn't mean you have to go to the gym and lift heavy weights. You can do body weight exercises at home, squats, lunges, push-ups, planks. You can use resistance band. You can use dumbbells. The point is to challenge your muscles. So why does exercise work so well for diabetes? When you exercise, your muscles use glucose for energy. And here's the cool part. They don't need insulin to do it. It's called contraction-mediated glucose uptake. Basically, when your cells contract during exercise, they pull glucose out of your bloodstream to fuel the movement. And this happens independently of insulin, which is why exercise can lower your blood sugar even if you're insulin resistant. But the benefits go way beyond just lowering blood sugar in the moment. Regular exercise improves insulin sensitivity over time. It helps your cells respond better to insulin so your body doesn't have to produce as much to keep your blood sugar in range. It also improves your cardiovascular fitness, lowers blood pressure, reduces inflammation, and helps with weight loss, all of which are critical for diabetes remission. Now let's briefly talk about the two types of exercise you need, aerobic and resistance training. Aerobic exercise, also called cardio, is things like walking, jogging, cycling, swimming, or dancing. This type of exercise is especially good for lowering post-meal blood sugar, improving blood pressure, and boosting insulin sensitivity. Studies show that aerobic exercise can significantly reduce your 2-hour post-meal glucose levels and improve your A1C over time. One study looked at people with type 2 diabetes who did structured walking programs, and their fasting blood sugar dropped from around 10 millimoles per liter down to 6.3. That's a massive improvement. In US numbers, that's about 180 milligrams per deciliter to 113 milligrams per deciliter. But here's where it gets even better, resistance training. So resistance training is strength-based exercise, lifting weights, using resistance bands, doing body weight exercises. And this type of exercise builds lean muscle mass. And why does that matter? Because muscle is your body's glucose reservoir. The more muscle you have, the more places your body has to store glucose. It's like upgrading your storage capacity. When you have more muscle, your body can handle blood sugar better, even when you're not exercising. Resistance training also boosts your metabolism, it helps with weight loss, and it improves your overall strength. Now here's the key. Combining aerobic and resistance training is more effective than doing either one alone. A 2025 review found that combined training, aerobic plus resistance, improved A1C, insulin sensitivity, fitness levels, and weight loss more than either type of exercise by itself. So if you want the best results, you need both. Here's what a simple weekly exercise plan could look like. Monday, 30 minutes of brisk walking. Tuesday, 30 minutes of resistance training, squats, lunges, push-ups, planks. Wednesday, 30 minutes of cycling or swimming. Thursday, rest or light stretching. Friday, 30 minutes of resistance training. Saturday, 30 minutes of walking or dancing. And Sunday, rest day. That's it. Nothing crazy, just consistent, structured movement. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, Diana, I'm not in great shape. I haven't exercised in years. How do I even start? Start small. Seriously, if you can only do 10 minutes of walking, do 10 minutes of walking. If you can only do 5 squats, do 5 squats. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to build the habit and gradually increase over time. If you want to follow some of the best exercises to lower blood sugar, make sure to watch Jose's video here. I'll also link it below this video. All right, so we've covered diet and exercise, but there's one more piece of the puzzle that people overlook. Because here's the reality. You can eat perfectly and exercise every day, but if you're also not managing these other lifestyle factors, you're going to sabotage your progress. These are the hidden drivers of high blood sugar that no one really talks about. And if you ignore them, remission becomes almost impossible. Let's dive into number 3, other lifestyle factors. When we talk about reversing type 2 diabetes, most people focus just on diet and exercise. And of course, these are absolutely critical and they should be the foundation, but there are other lifestyle factors that have a massive impact on your blood sugar and most people completely ignore them. I'm talking about sleep, stress, social support, and avoiding risky substances like tobacco and excess alcohol. These might not seem as important as what you eat or how much you exercise, but the research is clear. If you don't manage these factors, your chances of achieving remission will drop. So let's start with sleep. Sleep is one of the most underrated tools for blood sugar control, and most people with type 2 diabetes are not getting enough of it. Just one poor night of sleep can reduce your insulin sensitivity by up to 25% the next day. One night, 25%. In one study, participants who slept only 4 to 5 hours instead of their usual 8 hours saw a massive drop in insulin sensitivity the following day. So if you're consistently not sleeping well, whether it's because of stress, sleep apnea, or just poor sleep habits, you're making it so much harder for your body to regulate blood sugar. For ways to improve your sleep, check out this video I did on the topic. Okay, now let's talk about stress. Chronic stress is one of the biggest hidden drivers of high blood sugar. When you're stressed, your body releases cortisol, your main stress hormone. And cortisol signals to your liver to dump glucose into your bloodstream. And this makes sense back when stress meant running from a predator. Your body needed quick energy to survive. But in modern life, stress is chronic. It's work deadlines, financial pressure, family issues, traffic. And if your stress levels are constantly high, your cortisol is constantly high, which means your blood sugar is constantly elevated. And here's the kicker. High cortisol also makes you more insulin resistant. So not only is your liver dumping out more sugar, but your cells are also less able to use it. So how do you manage stress? Well, one of the most effective ways is through mindfulness practices. Things like meditation, deep breathing, or yoga. Even just 5 minutes of deep breathing before bed can lower your cortisol levels and help you sleep better. Okay, another powerful tool is social support. Studies show that people with strong social connections and support systems have better glycemic control and are more likely to stick with healthy behaviors. So if you're trying to reverse your diabetes, don't do it alone. Join a support group, work with a dietitian or a diabetes educator, connect with friends or family members who can encourage you. Now, next up, let's talk quickly about tobacco and alcohol. If you smoke, quitting is one of the single best things you can do for your diabetes. Smoking increases insulin resistance, it raises blood sugar, and dramatically increases your risk of heart disease and other complications. And when it comes to alcohol, moderation is key. Excessive alcohol consumption can lead to weight gain, it can disrupt your sleep, and cause huge blood sugar swings. All right, so let's recap these other lifestyle factors. Sleep, aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night. Stress, practice mindfulness, deep breathing, or meditation. Social support, build a strong support system. Don't do this alone. Connect with others who can encourage you and support you. Avoid tobacco. If you smoke, try to quit. It's one of the best things you can do for your health. And number 5, limit alcohol. Stick to moderate amounts and always try to pair it with food. These might seem like small, trivial things, but they really do add up. And when you combine them with a Mediterranean diet and regular exercise, you create a powerful, multi-layered approach to reversing type 2 diabetes. All right, let's bring this all together. Type 2 diabetes remission is possible. It's not a fantasy. It's not a scam. It's backed by decades of research and supported by major medical organizations. But it requires a comprehensive approach. You need all 3 of these strategies working together. Number 1, the Mediterranean diet, high in fiber, healthy fats, low glycemic foods, it lowers A1C, improves insulin sensitivity, and supports long-term health. Number 2, exercise. A combination of aerobic and resistance training, at least 150 minutes per week. This improves insulin sensitivity, lowers blood sugar, and builds lean muscle mass. And number 3, other lifestyle factors: quality sleep, stress management, social support, and avoiding tobacco and excess alcohol. When you put all 3 of these together, you give yourself the best possible chance at achieving remission. Now, I know this can feel overwhelming. There's a lot to think about, a lot to change, but here's the good news. You don't have to do it all at once. Start with one thing. Maybe it's switching to a Mediterranean style breakfast. Maybe it's taking a 15-minute walk after dinner. Maybe it's going to bed 30 minutes earlier. Pick one thing, master it, and then add the next thing. Progress compounds over time, and every small step you take is moving you closer to remission. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. That's why I created the free guide. It's got everything you need to get started, a full week of Mediterranean meals, recipes, and a shopping list. All you have to do is comment guide below this video and I'll send it to you. If this video helped you, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. I make videos like this every week to help you take control of your health and reverse your diabetes naturally. And if you have questions, drop them below in the comments. I read every single one and I'll do my best to answer them all. You've got this. Remission is possible, and I'm here to help you every step of the way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.